Alright, guys, let me know if I am audible. If I'm audible, please let me know in the chat and make sure that you like the stream as well. Give me 1 second. Audible, alright. Make sure that you guys like the stream as well. And if my voice has any disturbance, make sure that you let me know that as well. The volume might be a bit low, so you might want to turn up your volume. Clear, alright. You're only two fan. Don't be a fan. It's all right. I mean, I, I, I mean, I'm just like you, nothing special here. All right, so you can start putting your doubts on the chat. Pretty volatile markets, but I will discuss some important things regarding a market correction. So make sure that you watch till the end. And we'll also look at the indices, obviously. We'll wait for more people to join in. And if you've already joined in, make sure that you like the stream as well. That will help. Tata Industries. Kaka Industries. Ratnavir Precision. Yeah, this is gone actually. Um, See, again, the first thing that you guys want to do is mark the current range of the stock. So if the stock is uptrending, all right, the current range basically becomes the highest point of the uptrend and the previous demand or the previous swing low. All right, so this becomes your current range. If the stock is sideways, that's pretty easy. You will get your zones pretty clearly. All right, this is the highest point here, and this is your previous swing. So if you look at the previous range, so basically the after marking the current range, if you see that the stock is not sideways inside the range, it's going up or it's going down, it's just one way. So if you see in this area, this is the current range of the stock, this is your highest point, and this is your demand. So in this area, the stock is, there is no sideways action here. All right, which means, now why do I focus so much on sideways movement? Because see, if the stock is already moving inside the range, or if the stock is already moved out of some other range, it means that the chances of getting a next move is not that high. All right, the chances of catching something like this is pretty low. The market has to be very, very stable or very sharp uptrend to catch something like this. All right, so in the current range of the stock, if you see, I'll just mark it, there is nothing going on. All right, the stock has already done what it was supposed to do. All right, so another example which I will share with you, I think I've discussed this stock. Don't buy it now, okay? It's already gone. Please don't buy it right now. But sorry, but if you see this entire range, so basically from this high to this low. Now inside this range, obviously there are different parts, so we won't consider this one. But look at this one. All right, so it was getting smaller, getting smaller. It was building up, and this was also building up on this weekly demand. So the weekly trend was also obviously up. So if you see, this was your tiny weekly demand right here, and this entire build-up was around that uh, weekly demand. And then you find your entry points. Obviously, that is very personal. You can whatever you're comfortable with. Some people like to buy straight from the demand, straight from a wick. I like to wait for some sort of a contraction. That is personal, but the move is not because of some contraction that you draw randomly. All right, that is not the move. I can show you a lot of examples where this will fail because the market falls because the stock is too much extended. So a lot of examples where this thing will fail. So what you want, the reason for the move is that there is an uptrend. All right, there has been sufficient pullback on the weekly, and after the pullback, we are now building up for a bigger move. This is the basic, uh, the basic structure of a swing trade. You cannot buy random stocks. All right, you cannot buy, you cannot mark a range here and you can buy this expecting this every time. You might get this once, twice, but the amount of times that this will fail will equal out whatever you are catching once or twice. All right. So any stock that you see on my watch, everything will have some sort of a base which it is breaking out of. So if you see this one, so what is going on in this stock? And this is not a buy recommendation. All right, don't just blindly buy it. I might exit it immediately after the live or right in the live as well. So don't uh, buy it blindly. So again, if you see, this is the last weekly breakout, this candle right here. All right. After that, the stock has been pretty sideways. Now what happens? We pull back to this weekly demand. All right. And now you also want to mark the structure of the pullback so that it's clear with you. Obviously, it's kind of natural to me now, but if you're new to this, you want to mark the pullback structure. So if you see, this is the structure of the pullback, and now we are starting to turn into higher lows on the weekly, which is a very strong sign. All right. So now maybe there is a chance, maybe that the stock breaks out because we are starting to form this much tighter right hand side. All right. So if you see the left hand side, very wide, very volatile, big down candles and all that stuff. But on the right hand side, things are getting smaller. All right. So if you see on the daily as well, this part right here, it's getting smaller. We are not going down to test these lows anymore. Obviously, we can go down. I'm not saying that this won't fail, but at least there is some sign that we are now holding higher lows. All right. So, so if you see here, this was a volatile period. All right. But now, after this breakout on the upside, we are now holding the lows. So maybe the stock will try to push up. All right. So basic uh, structure of a swing trade should be you want to be in the broader market direction first of all. If you're not with the broader market, you will fail. All right. If you try to buy, let's say, if you try to buy a stock when the small cap index, let's look at the hourly. When the small cap index is breaking through previous ranges, all right, and you are just a second. Yeah. So if the small cap index is breaking down and you are trying to buy stocks here, you are bound to fail. All right. So broader market direction is very important, first of all. Secondly, once you're sure of the broader market direction, then you have to look at, now see, once you're sure of the broader market direction, now the steps ahead, they will just make your chances of catching a big move more, like it better, right? Because if the market is going up, most of the stocks will go up, all right? Maybe in certain markets, just a particular group goes up, but in that case, the market won't go up sharply. In that case, the market will go up like this, all right? So if the market is going up like this, then most of the stocks are going up because market won't gap up and go up immediately. Market won't make 2-3% candles if the broader stocks are not participating, all right? So you need a large number of stocks. This is why if you see on every fall, the fall is big because everything is falling with the market. So the momentum towards the downside is always more because when things start to fall, everything starts to basically go down. All right. So when all the stocks add up, the index will make a bigger candle. All right. But on the upside, if you see in this phase, there are down candles and then there is a gap up again, a down candle, 2, 3 down candles. It means that all parts of the market, they are not going up. All sectors are not going up. All right. So once you're clear with the broader market direction, then you find your uptrending stocks, basically something like this, and you try to time your entries in such a stock. All right. Now, timing your entries is very personal. You are just trading off something for the other. All right. So you just have to find the best trade-off that you can find. So I am buying this stock since this point, and just now it has started to move. So someone might be very impressed that you got a 20% breakout before the move, but the point is I'm in it since 1 month, right? And just now it's starting to go up. So that time also adds up, right? So I'm trading away some time to get a better risk to reward on my trade. All right. I am willing to hold the stock through these volatile periods to get a better breakout. All right. Sometimes your stock might go without you. So let's take an example of this one. All right. So I was watching the stock. I was watching this weekly demand on the stock. All right. This tiny red candle, if you see, this was what I was watching. And when the market fell, sorry, it pulled back in January. I bought this stock once here. Then I had to exit because there was no movement. All right. So this was my exit, but this demand was still obviously on my watch. So again, I was waiting for a setup here. But what happened on this day? The stock just declared results and it spiked up. All right. So if you see, this is a candle in the middle of the day. All right. So if you see this candle, this is not an opening candle. This is on 13th Feb, 2:20 p.m. All right. So this just broke out that way. So you might miss out because you're waiting for the perfect setup, but ultimately it's what works for you the best. All right. It's only about what works for you the best. You don't have to worry about stocks breaking out and you missing them because there are like hundreds, not if not thousands of stock. All right. So just a second. Yeah. So there is a trade-off all the time in the markets. When you're trading, there is a certain trade-off that you have to accept and move on with it. Similarly in intraday, so first of all, I don't do intraday anymore. I believe that if the index is uptrending on the daily, intraday is probably a waste of time if you are not uh, doing it automated or something. All right. So okay, also I see not a lot of people have liked the video, so make sure that you like the stream as well. um, let's get the like count up. So yeah, so in intraday as well, if you see, you have to have a trade-off. All right. If you are buying a selling a breakdown, you might catch a big move like this, but on some days you might get just tossed around in the market. All right. So overall, if you are able to catch some big breakouts, maybe let's say once a week, you still might make a lot of returns. All right. So it's only the thing that you're very comfortable with. You only want to be sticking to that. All right. So Obviously I'll discuss what I do, which works for me the best, and maybe it's the best thing for you to do as well, because I have tried basically everything at this point. All right, so since we have a lot of people, let's look at the indices, which is pretty interesting. So Nifty, if you look very closely, it's quite congested here, but if you see, this was the last move. All right, we haven't made a high after that. You can ignore this high because obviously we pulled back and then we're going up again. So this is the current uptrend. All right, so obviously this high matters because it's the all-time high, but in the context of the trend, this is the highest point. So this is the demand for that point, and Nifty has been holding it very, very well. All right, which is a very strong sign of strength. Obviously, I mean, strong sign, yeah. So pulled back to this demand, and on this day, it gapped down. It was down 200 points in the morning, and then we closed back up, which was a very strong sign because this was after the US inflation data, I think. All right, and now we are continuing the uptrend, and obviously Nifty will keep going up. The demand zone for the trend still remains the same, which is this one as well. I've shared it multiple times on my Instagram stories. This is your demand point, which is around 21,500. This is Nifty spot. All right, until and unless this uh, breaks, Nifty is uptrending. Maybe even this breaks. For a long-term demand, obviously this entire area is your weekly demand. So if you see on the weekly charts, this is a very strong formation right here on Nifty. So this entire area is your weekly demand here. All right, so we can see some sort of a one-way move in Nifty in the coming days. The earnings season is also over. All the volatility has been absorbed here. So let's see. Nifty is very bullish. Don't buy here. I'm not advising you guys to buy here because it's already too extended on the hourly charts, but you can buy stocks if they are setting up. All right, Bank Nifty as well. I have talked about this weekly demand on Bank Nifty, this weekly base basically. So, so this is the weekly base. In Bank Nifty futures, we went a bit deeper into this base, not exactly deep enough to this demand, but there is a little demand zone right here, which is the breakout demand, which is this one. So if you see, this is the last one before we broke through this entire cluster of supplies. So this entire cluster of supplies, this is the last demand which we formed before breaking out big. All right, this was obviously the state election results, and Bank Nifty has been holding this weekly demand very, very nicely, and this is the proof. All right, this is the proof of that strength. Already you see multiple attempts to go down, but immediately, ultimately, we're now pushing up. All right, so Bank Nifty bullish, Nifty is bullish, and a lot of sectors in the market are very, very bullish. So if we check out some other sectors, let's check out some sectoral indices. So pharma obviously going up. PSU banks are now taking off again. We have already talked about PSU banks being the stronger one, and Nifty metal is rebounding from the previous base. Nifty healthcare is obviously pharma. Nifty media is the one which is weaker, and that is only because of Zeal. I don't think other media stocks are that bad. What's next? Nifty reality also looks really good. So if you see, this is your demand, and this is the one which is closest to Nifty because it looks quite like Nifty. All right, so you want to focus on Nifty reality. It might react with Nifty. Nifty consumers again pushing from the EMA. Nifty private bank obviously weaker, and PSU bank is carrying Bank Nifty. All right, so SBI and all that is carrying Bank Nifty. FMCG is quite weaker. IT is strong. Infra obviously strong, and I think the rest of the indices are also strong. So overall market health is really good. All right, we did not see a lot of destruction in the fall, and most of that is equalized. And see, in the small cap index, whenever it starts to push lower, and you see that the last demand, the index is not going up immediately from that area, and it's starting to push. Just assume that we will go down to the previous base or the previous demand. Just assume it, because it will happen most of the times. All right. If it is not uh, reacting from here, if it starts to fall, it is going into the previous structure. All right. Every single time, if you see, did not hold this demand, went below to this previous area. This time it held this demand, immediate reaction, went up. Did not hold any demand, went below to this base and then went up. All right. And these corrections are itself and in themselves, they are like 10%, 8.5%, 10%. So these are big drops. All right. Stocks can fall a lot really in this entire correction. So small cap looks good. A bit of a V-shaped recovery, which is not ideal, but no reaction. All right. No supply, no nothing yet. All right. So if we see something like this, that is ideal. But right now, you see, it's not really trying to fall at all. So continue to buy stocks. I am buying stocks, obviously, if I find them. Also, don't copy the stocks from my watch list. These are not what I'm buying. I might be buying them, I might not. So don't copy them. All right. All right. So let's see some doubts now. Again, guys, make sure that you like the stream. Okay, Kaka Industries. This is maybe very liquid. I cannot talk about it. Yeah, this is also SME. AV Capital. See, AV Capital is not bad, all right. But again, the point is, in the current range, there is no range. In fact, if you see between this supply and this demand, which is the current range of the stock, there is no build up yet. All right. This is probably looking good on the weeklies, which it is. So if it sets up here, we can see some sort of a spike, maybe. It might still spike. I'm not saying the chart is bad. Sorry. Again, if I say that there is no entry in a stock, doesn't mean that the chart is bad. All right. Entry only makes sense when there is risk to reward. A stock can be bullish in 100 different ways. All right. But that doesn't mean that there is no entry. There is this, the chart is bad. All right. So as long as it's above the weekly EMA, above these weekly demand zones, the stock is good. You don't have to worry about any corrections. Adani Green. So let's take out Adani Energy because you people have been asking about it. See, uh, in Adani Energy Solutions, first of all, it's one of the weakest Adani stocks. All right. Secondly, it hasn't broken through the weekly EMA yet. All right. It hasn't broken through any weekly supply, even the ones that have not made a new low. All right. So let it break out first, and then we come back, and maybe then we build up to go up again. There is a supply here as well. So if you look at this area, there is this pause right here, which is a strong supply. All right. So if you are trading any Adani stocks, Adani Energy Solution is what you need to avoid. Adani Green as well. I remember people asking it here, but again, this is too extended uh, for my setup. All right. I like to buy it from the EMA. I like to buy something that looks like this directly from the EMA from the demand. All right. As early as I can. This is in the middle of the trend. I don't do this. And Radico Khaitan is also extended. So again, this is at least inside a base, but if you see, this was the proper entry right here. This area was the entry, but I think there was earnings. So now it's just trying to continue from the trend. So the trend started here. Now this is the second move in the trend. So I don't like to buy that. All right. I like to buy something which is coming right off of the base. All right. So basically, see, the point is that every time a stock pulls back, it will make a left hand side and then it will start going up. All right. If the fall is big, this part will also be big if it's going up. All right. So, so the point is, if the trend is big enough, like if the fall is big enough and it's going up, it means that you cannot just say that just because it's at the previous high, it is very bullish. It has been bullish all the way here. So it needs to calm down here. All right. It needs to hold back. And then we may maybe start another push towards the upside. All right. If the pullback is short, so let's say something like this. If the pullback is short, then you can try to catch the stock in the uptrend. But these pullbacks, they they are short-term moves. All right. You cannot expect it to give you 50% move because on the weekly, look at where this base was on the weekly. All right, too far up. All right, so sometimes this might work when this trend is starting, but the best ones are when the weekly is almost at the weekly EMA and we have made a proper big weekly base. So, so something like this. There's a big uh, dip below the EMA on the daily, something close to the weekly, and then we start to push up. All right. So yeah. So this is also quite up. All right, don't buy this. All right, can you give two, three examples? I have posted a lot of examples on my Instagram. You can check them out. But any live that you watch, I discuss examples all the time. I discuss the exact same thing in every single live, literally. So gold is let's look at the weekly chart of gold. The weekly demand of gold is actually this candle. So gold is still good enough. Nothing bad here. Don't worry about the daily fall. Obviously, there's a drop on the daily, but it's all right. If you're investing in gold, it's still good. Crude is actually setting up. Crude is actually very interesting. So, if you guys remember, I talked about crude. I talked about this move. Talked about a move from this supply, but now if you see it, it has gone up to this supply. All right. So that is not good. All right. Crude trying to hold uh, the previous low, trying to push up. That is not good for the Indian markets. All right. So let's see what happens here if there's a breakout or if it fails here. Let's see what happens. But crude is very interesting. Keep this on watch. If it starts to push above 80, we might be trouble. We might be in some trouble in the markets. Right. That usually happens when crude starts to trade above 80 or 85. You see that the markets are kind of might be weak, but maybe even sideways or something. Mahindra Life Sciences or Mahindra Life Space, I think. Yeah. So, all right. So we have talked about this. I think the arrows are already indicative of what we talked about. So maybe it is already broken out. Then we talked about a dip and an up move, which is what is playing out here. But again, same thing. If you are watching this, you mark the range and you mark your previous demand, which is this area right here. And inside this area, there is no range yet. So basically, you are chasing an up move if you're buying here. All right. So this is better if you avoid it. This was an excellent entry, but again, I think this is again an earning spike. So it's not tradable. PFC is also on my watch. Let's see. So what I want in PFC is at least a move here and then maybe some more sideways action. It's just starting out, which is not bad at all. Doesn't look bad at all, but let's see. This is on my watch. PFC and REC is maybe better. If I remember REC, PFC, they move together. REC is a bit better. REC is a bit closer to the supply. So both these stocks are on my watch. All right. Gujarat Alkalis. Again, guys, whatever I'm talking about, don't buy it or don't recommend it to anyone. All right. I can exit these stocks anytime and you wouldn't know. So don't do that. All right, Gujarat Alkalis, if you see, I don't like such a wide range. All right, if you see the hourly chart, Look at the moves here. All right. This is obviously because of the market fall as well, but I don't like this wide of a range. So maybe let it just cool down a bit here. Maybe something like let's see, something like this area right here, or maybe something like this. Just let it cool down. This is too wide. All right, and it's also chemical, so chemicals are not really doing well right now. You can't find better options. I think realty stocks, maybe realty stocks. Suntech Realty is trying to push up, but not the strongest one. If you see, still below these highs, realty stocks are far from the 2022 highs. Um, so let's see, let's see. Maybe we'll see when it sets up. Let it push up, contract a bit here. The demand is holding, which is good. This little uh, structure right here is the last demand. It is holding, which is good, but let's see what happens. All right. Career point weekly. Okay, let's check it out. Weekly, see, first of all, on the daily, it's already gone. On the weekly, is also gone. All right. So, so if you see, this was the breakout demand. So, out of this entire structure, this was the demand of the breakout. Uh, by breakout demand, I mean the last pause before the breakout out of this entire range. All right. So, people who are new here, this is what I mean when I say breakout demand. This is the last buying point after the break, before the breakout. So it's already far from there. All right. And again, no range inside this area. So maybe if it contracts here, maybe. Let's see. TV today, I think it was on my watch, but it's heavily downtrending. That is why I ignored it. It's very downtrending. I was watching it yesterday. This is too illiquid. I cannot talk about this. It's very illiquid. All right, Dixon Technologies. Again, see, it's not bad. All right, it is not bad at all. This is your area of demand, last demand basically. All right, and this is your last demand. This is your area of supply. So maybe if it pulls back and there's a wick from the demand, then you can buy it. All right, it's not bad. It's a good chart. Alchem Labs is already gone. Alchem Labs, it's already too high up. All right, nothing here. GMR Infra is also gone. See, all these stocks, they're above the previous supply. It means it's in the middle of a trend already. So don't buy these stocks. Share India is also way up. All right. The last time we talked about this was this base, which was a very strong time, I think, for this stock. But see, it's already way up. This is the previous base. It's right here, far from the EMA. It's too extended. Don't buy this. Nesco, my entry was 890. Now it's fading. Entry was 890. First of all, entry is bad. All right. Because you are chasing the up move. So after this entire up move, you're buying somewhere here, which is a bad entry, and that is why it's fading because it has already moved up 12-13% from the low in a matter of 2-3 days. All right, but don't exit the stock. It might maybe take some time here. Exit only if it breaks this demand, which is I think 870. The low is 871. All right, so don't exit randomly. Otherwise, there's no point, right? Granules is also gone. Very strong chart. I saw it yesterday, but it was already way up. But it is already gone. Don't buy this. And Bank of India is also already gone. So all these stocks, they have reacted nicely from the demand zones, and they are gone. Wait for a pullback in all of these. If they keep breaking out, do not chase them. You have much better options. All right, Lincoln India. Hi sir, good afternoon, good afternoon. Lincoln India. All right, Lincoln Farmer. Sorry. Yeah, not bad. This is on my watch, but I want to see some contraction around these rejections. All right, so maybe a higher low here because it is rejecting very sharply from these supplies again and again. So I want something like this. Kamdhenu. All right. There are multiple Kamdhenus. Let's see. This is too far up. This is also nothing here. So nothing in Kamdhenu. If you want to talk to your partnership in Upstocks, you can DM me on Instagram, but I won't promote anything that I don't use. So Granules and Bank of India we talked about already. Precision, um, Precision Metallics. All right. Let's see where it is. This is also gone, and this is very illiquid. Don't trade these stocks, guys. It's there is no candles on the daily chart. All right, Copran. Again, see, this is the entire range of the stock. All right. So let it cool down inside this range first. All right. Let it go sideways. Let it see again. So if you consider this range and this range, so we are currently in this part. All right. After the up move, the first drop, and now we are going up for the first time. So we need this sideways action. Hopefully things are clearer now. All right. We need this sideways action. Infosys. All right. It's already way up. Don't buy Infosys. DSSL, your entry was 708. It's too far up, in my opinion. Uh, it's not, I mean, not bad, but 708 is here. All right. I would prefer somewhere around the EMA. So maybe 670, 675, something. All right. So kind of extended. Kalyan Jewelers is already up. Okay. So is it done? No, it's not done. It's not done. It's just one day of, it's all right. Nothing is done here. This was also some sort of block deal, I think. So let it cool down. It will start going up again. It's not done. Prudent Corp. This stock has slowed down significantly after this move. But again, see, again, this is the first move up after the pullback. All right. So we want a sideways action. So something like this. The first move up, we pull back down, and this is where we want to buy the stock. Sorry. All right. What else? When is the mentorship starting? It will start next week. If you have DM'd me on Instagram, I will get back to you. Don't worry about it. I will get back to you by tonight. Okay, gateway again. See, first pull back, let it go up, maybe settle down here, then we'll see what happens. Anand Rathi, I think it's way up. It's too far up. Don't buy these stocks. This is like a dream stock. All right. Um, don't buy these. Buy normal stocks. Maybe could have bought it here, but that is also very extended for me. So don't buy it right here. All right. Just don't buy it. NIIT. See again, if you see the current candle, um, if I go back here, This also looked very bullish, all right, but what happened after that? It just came down, all right. So instead of looking at where it's going, you need to look at what is it holding. It's holding this demand, all right. So until it sets up closer to this demand, don't buy this, because this is the lifeline of the stock, not these random up moves. Jindal Photo, all right, I haven't watched the stock since a long time. Jindal Photo is on the way up. It will probably start making a range here, which is a good thing. So if you see this move similar to this one, so we are waiting for this. All right, we want something like this here. Is HDFC any good? It's downtrending. I've already talked about the downtrend uh, on this fall and also on this fall, I think. I don't remember. But HDFC again, why do you want to buy this when you have something like uh, this, which is literally the perfect setup right now? Might not move, that's a different story, but this looks much better. All right. Something like Axis is also much better than HDFC. If Axis stays above the EMA around these supplies, then this will also start going up. So again, HDFC, don't buy it. Ganesha Exosphere, all right. Exosphere or Ecosphere? Just a second. I can't find Exosphere. It's Ecosphere only, I think. Yeah, so this one again, not bad. All right, actually pretty decent. But maybe if it just stays here for a couple of days, that will be perfect. All right. Lloyd's engineering works. Not bad. Um, Maybe I need to add it again. Metals are doing good. Not bad. It can maybe reject from the supply, but the stock itself on the weekly is very, very good. All right. So on the weekly, if you see, it's extremely strong. IRM Energy, Sport King. All right. Let me check them out. IRM, no, nothing here. Just the first pullback on the upside. Nothing here. We want a range. We want a range here. Um, Sport King. Sport King again, same thing. All these stocks, see, since the market is behaving this way, the market is going up after a pullback. Most of the stocks will look the same. All right. Senko Gold. Again, looks the same. Maybe just wait for a couple of more days before buying heavy. Right. But jewelry stocks are actually doing good. Uh, these jewelry stocks, they are actually doing very well. So maybe you can make an exception for these jewelry stocks. Let me just add both of them. Pesalo is also an IT stock actually, but there is no setup here. It's already gone. Coforge, see, Coforge is pretty good, but the point is, look at how far it's from the EMA. Inside the current range, even it's at the higher point. All right. So see, what I try to do is I try to buy stocks as low as possible in the context of the trend. So buy them as low as possible as long as the trend looks confirmed on the upside, which is this contraction point, right? So pulls back, contracts. Now here it looks like it's trying to go up, but it is not very high inside the trend, right? So this is what I try to do mostly. This was a very strong stock. This has always been a strong stock actually, even in 2022, but now it's gone. It's already gone way up, too far up. All right, a couple of more doubts, then we will conclude the live. Canara Bank target. See, I don't know anything about the target. All right. Giving targets is just astrology, I think, unless you like very like too good in fundamentals or something. Targets. If you're drawing Fibonacci targets, that is just you know as close to astrology as you can get. All right. So, but one thing is, it has now moved parabolic. It has now moved in a parabolic way, which is not good. So if you want to book, this is maybe somewhere you might want to book. All right. If you have sat through all these pullbacks, that's a good thing because now it's gone parabolic, and this is usually where things stop, especially in a very popular stock like this. So something like this. I'm not saying this will happen in Canara Bank, but whenever things go parabolic straight up, you usually stop out for a long time. All right. This is obviously way, uh, I mean, much bigger than Canara Bank, but just an example. TDK Healthcare, not bad, but the stock is not, it is not a fast mover anymore, I think. Um, yeah, so this is TDK Healthcare. You see the stock too much range bound action. Yeah, so I don't like these stocks where stocks just keep struggling in sideways for multiple days at a time. IRFC, that is a good doubt. Now IRFC is something we can focus on because this is one of the strongest railway stocks to pull back. So let's wait for a range here. All right, this is something that is very closely on my watch. Extremely solid chart in IRFC. UCO Bank, we have talked about it. It's already gone way up. Nothing here. Hardwin India. Again, first move after the pullback. So we wait for a sideways action. All right. Tata Power. Tata Power is also already, first of all, it's already moved up. Secondly, inside the current range, it's in the middle of nowhere. All right. So avoid Tata Power. All right. So we will stop here. This was a fun live, and if you have mentorship doubts, if you want to join it, you can DM me on Instagram. I will check that out. I'll get back to you by tonight. Have a fun weekend. We'll meet again next Friday, and hopefully the market keeps going up. Have fun. I'll see you guys.